welcome back to my channel and a new PAX wardrobe video. If you haven't watched my first one, I will link it below. But this is the other side of our bedroom, so I'm going to show you how I create this second PAX wardrobe. This is my other PAX wardrobes, all linked below, whole series on it, how I designed it, insides, everything. But this is the area, so it's actually going to be 3 wardrobes. I'm going to have 3 100s in the oak colour, not the white, and then because of where the door is here, it's going to be a short one and then the 2 normal depth. The height of my ceilings is 235 centimetres, so IKEA comes in, I think it's like 198, well, it's basically 2 metres and 236, so I can't use the taller ones. Lots of comments on my other video as why didn't I just buy the tall ones and chop them down, but if I did that I wouldn't be able to have the skirting boards running along the front or the skirting boards and detail at the top, so I have the standard ones. So first of all, I'm going to head off to B&Q and I'm going to get some wood. Now I am using my design sheets and I have a full design pack of how I designed these wardrobes and the other. It's all linked below so you can see the dimensions, the sizes and everything that I used, and it's all on a downloadable design sheet so you can look at it. So I'm going to go off. First thing I'm going to do is the frame. So if you're new around here, please hit the subscribe button. I've got lots of IKEA hacks, lots more coming. Anyway, let's get on with bitting all the bits from B&Q. Can crack on. I've got all of my planning and design sheets here that I'm using for this project. These will be available to download in the description box. These are all the different things I use to plan, project, manage, design, everything. And I'll also add the blueprints for this so you can see the sizing and absolutely everything that I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure out on my bits of wood and basically cut them to size. So once they're all cut to size, before I put them all together, I will show you. Okay, I'm cutting all the bits. And these measurements that I'm doing, I was able to get 1 long piece for the frame and 4 short bits, which is fantastic. So I need to cut lots and lots of pieces for the longer bit. I've got all my measurements here, so I know exactly what I'm doing. So when I cut them, I cut this, label the size, and I number each unit, or each piece of wood even, so I know where it's going to go. This is my little cutter. This is from Homebase. I think it was about £40. It was a couple of years ago, but it's a fairly basic one. All it will do is literally cut angles across or up and down. A lot easier than using a saw, and it actually lives outside under a cover at the side of my house because we have power put in. Just need to get the pressure washer out on that. Look at that. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to continue to cut, label, and then I'll show you where it's all laid out upstairs. One little trick that I do is I'll cut the first one to the exact length that I need, and I'm cutting, I think, 8 of these in total. So I'll lay it across here, score down, and there is my line to cut. I'm going to take it off and do it again, so you know every bit is identical. I still measure with my tape measure every time I cut, but that's just an easy way of making sure they're all lovely and accurate and then labelled and ready to go. So I'll just finish off doing the cutting. Here we go, here is the base. Now I've left the back skirting board on and the side skirting boards on because my husband wants me to, and actually I think I will because it's going to make such a mess, and what for? I'm just going to cover it. So I've left it on there because actually we are going to have an extension built with a door there, so this at some point I think will actually move. So we'll leave the skirting board there for now. So I have adjusted my measurements for allowing the thickness of the skirting board for my frame. So this is for the 100 wide by 35, and these are for the 100 wide by 58 deep. So I always keep the length coming out, the length I need, and then chop these down. So these are about 93, 92. As I say, there is a link. We'll have my exact plans for you to look at. So that's basically, this is how I do it. I basically make 3 different frames. So I do 2 on either side, 2 in front and back, and then I'll individually attach them with screws. And then once I'm happy, I'll work out the placing and the gap either side, and then I will attach through the back. And that's how I attach them. You could, if you wanted to, put some brackets, some L-shaped brackets coming down here if you wanted to on the inside, holding it down. I'm not going to bother because the weight from the packs pushes it down at the front, and also I attach the packs to the wall at the back. But if you wanted to, you could put some brackets, some L-shaped brackets, just to hold the front down. Screw wise, I bought these a little while ago, big pack of screws, and then I just got delivery, I think these are from Amazon, another set of raw plugs and screws. I'll link these. I think this was Amazon, it may have been a DIY shop, I'll check, but make sure you've got plenty of screws. My drill is also amazing. I buy these from B&Q. I think we've got 3 of these now. They have the most amazing super quick charger. I'll pop a link to B&Q to this one. I don't work for B&Q, I don't work with B&Q, but I'll link it. We have a drill and a saw as well, and you literally put the battery in and probably 20 minutes is fully charged. It's really good, it's a fast charger, but these are great. So I'm going to screw them all together. I'll do it speeded up. I did have a couple of comments on my last video that people want to see how I screw things together. I'm fully aware that some people know very clearly, but complete beginners maybe don't. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'll get it all in situ before I screw it to the back. That's the base already. I've done a bit more of an in-depth video into building and the sizing of the base, so if you want to watch that, I'll link it below. But basically, I make 3 bases, very much secure them to the wall. Now I'm going to put these on, they're all built. So let's get these lifted on in one piece. How I attach, how I work out the best way to attach the over-sidon lighting. This is the plug-in lighting you get when you buy the kit. I'll link everything I bought below. I had to buy a kit with the plug on it, then you buy the transformer, and then you choose which lighting. I've gone for 3 of the over-sidon lighting in this pack, so the 96 centimetre, and then it says here, so you don't get, it's excluding the transformer and the plug thing, that thing there. So it's basically 3 things, and then I've got 3 of these for each one, like that. And then this one, okay, I'm done. Very easy, a lot easier than the battery ones I've got. I'm left with thousands of bits. I've used, I'll add a link to IKEA with the transformer and the power socket. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attach the bits at the top to secure it to the wall. Always do this. This is what these bits are for. So when you've built them, you've got those silvery bits. Then what you do is basically using wall plugs, screw them in, using these to hook them on, and these go over the top so you don't even really see them. Well, you do see them because that's a creamy colour, but you get the idea. So let's get them secured. Right, I'm just starting to do the frame, and I had a quick sudden overnight think about what I was doing, and I actually, as you can see, have added some wood either side. Now that's set back because that's the shorter packs. Work out my MDF to actually frame it. So I do like to chop these down into small bits. You can see it's just easier, and I just put some neat screws in there, took this drawer out so you won't see the screws coming that way, made sure that I didn't screw in the other side work because it's going to have 4 shelves on here, and just pop them in. It kind of steadies it a bit, but it's just holding it steady, so it's just easier. It means the wood goes a longer way than putting big long planks. So that's the stage we're at, and I'm going to carry on. I'm going to start doing some framing along here, and all I'm going to do, if I get a piece of wood, let me get a bit of wood. So I'll just chop them down to little lengths, and if my maths is correct, which it isn't, basically 2 of these, so one there, are going to fit the gap. So what I'll do is I'll actually no more nails this side to hold it in, let that dry, then put the second one in, and then screw in from there, and that'll be solid as a rock. It's not holding it, it's attached to the wall, but it just means that it's somewhere solid to attach the frame. So I'll get the frame done. The top, I literally just unclip the lights, place them on the top, then screwed up so they're nice and secure on the top, and you can't see the screws because of the lights. Then the left, you can see, is a little bit of a puzzle. This is the wall that's super wonky. Can you see how much wonkier it is at the bottom? And then this one, I used some little offcuts, and I've just been cutting away the bit of skirting board, so when I get my MDF, it'll slot in. I'll make sure it's nice and neat. I will use some beading down the edge of the walls. That's a great way. If you have got dodgy walls, you could use some thin beading across there. Do is then do a design and measure everything up, because I go to B&Q and get them to cut it for me on their ball cutting machine. It's just a lot easier, and you pay first 5 cuts are free, and then it's 50p a cut, so it normally costs a couple of pounds, and they cut all the different bits, and then it's just like a big jigsaw. So I'll get everything built and the 2 doors hung, and then I will show you that. But that's basically how I do the frame. It doesn't need to fill all the gaps, it's just there to attach the MDF to, and it's pretty much identical to what I did on these wardrobes with the framing at the top, so I know that it holds it really well. So let me get those doors from B&Q all cut for me, which is great. It cost me £5 because I had 15 cuts. You get the first 5 free, and then it's 50p. Well worth it. So I'm basically going to lay them out like they're a bit of a puzzle. So I'll get a few on, and then I'll show you how I do it. I also picked up the coving in a pack while I was there. Don't need this much, but I'm going to use these on 2 other things. So I thought, might as well buy the pack, and then I bought the corners, 2 packs of these, so I can work out, because otherwise it's very difficult to work. It's very difficult to work out. So a corner piece and a corner piece for there, and that's just straight. So yeah, and a bit more, 2 more packs of 2 more tubes of no more nails. So get a few up, and I'll show you how I am putting them on. It is now dark outside, and I've started putting on the wood. How I do it is I start at the bottom. So I had this piece cut to the perfect length for this section, and I put that on. Then I had that piece cut, put there. Then I go upwards. So then I've put this piece up at the side. There's a piece you can just about see there to the right, stepped back. And then I've put in this side piece. And then the top, which I've stopped now, I'm gonna run, I've got a piece that goes across there, and then a piece that goes across there, and I've got some offcuts which I'll cut a bit to do that side. You can be a bit more forgiving because this is where the coving is going to be, so you don't have to be too neat at the top. So that's why I tend to start at the bottom. The coving will obviously come to about there, but I like to get all this nice and level. I've put a piece here, so when you look from the front, it's filled. Obviously there is a gap here because it's not very straight. Tomorrow morning, I'll probably get the top up. So that's where we are. So I'll continue and update you tomorrow. Okay, I have an update. We've had a bit of a change around in here. So you'll notice the drawers. I was starting to think, oh God, These doors, obviously, I don't know how they do it, but they're wrapped in something. So they've got like a coating on them. And I was panicking that when I cut them across here, it was going to chip and I might get it straight. And I did not want to make my own MDF doors. It's far too stressful. And because of the design of the doors, because it has this design, you're not sort of edging it. If you were doing like a shaker style, I think that makes, you can kind of use MDF, but I'm not, because it's like that. And then my husband was like, I just want doors. So I was like, fine. And I literally popped them off the covers, and inside are the drawers. So it's fine. I have spent most of the day, you hopefully won't have to do this, getting the cupboards level, because they just were not level enough. So I basically took all the doors off, moved everything around, and had to raise the units up. So you do need to make sure they're all nice and straight, and they are. The only difficulty is this room is 2 centimetres difference that side to that side. The middle's okay, so I think it kind of goes like that and then it goes like that. So if you look at the top here, these are ever so slightly higher. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just the way it is. I had to lift up this frame up. No, actually it went up that way. This one I had to do that way. So it's a bit annoying. All I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of trim under there. Once it's all painted, you shouldn't really notice it. So that's the only slight thing that they do not line up. But I have now attached the side piece here. You can see a little strip there. That's not on yet. That is, stay in my hands. That I'm just resting because I haven't put the top on yet. But I have in this corner here, because I'm not doing the drawers, it's so much less faffing around here. So I'm not going to have to put anything here at all. So all I've done is put a strip all the way down. I actually use 2 pieces and I'll fill that so it's nice and smooth. And then I put this curved edging along there. So it gives it a really nice curve. I'm going to do the same on the end there. And I'm going to have to get one ever so slightly thicker to finish and cover this gap. But again, that'll be nice and smooth down the edge. So if ever you have a wonky walls, not really straight, because if you look there, it's definitely smaller there, goes a bit wider and up. This trim is brilliant. I think this is £3, £3.29 or something. I think they do a slightly bigger one, which is £4, which I'm going to put there, which would be amazing. So I put the top on there. A little bit of no more nails and screw, and then the coving will actually go over those screws so you won't see them. Just got to get a piece of stripping to put down there. And the frame is done. Obviously the skirting board is going to run across here. So again, I glued it to within an inch of its life and then screwed it low down. I had to do a bit higher there, but then the coving, not the coving, then the skirting goes across there. So tomorrow I'm going to go to B&Q and see if they've had a delivery of the trim, because it was completely sold out last time I went, which is a bit annoying. So I need to get a piece of strip for there, another thick bit for that, and then get all the trim. And then what I will do is I'm going to prime it first. See you tomorrow. Good evening. It's the following day. Been to B&Q, picked up a load of bits. Had to get a new mitre saw because I ruined the last one. This is the prime and undercoat I use when I'm painting the MDF and the IKEA doors. It is brilliant. I had no chips or any issues using this on the other PAX wardrobe, so I'm going to use this. I'll link it where I bought it, and this is easily enough to do the wardrobes. That's what I'm going to do. I went to, was there B&Q? This is my trim. It's gone up by about, I think 70p a piece. It's now £7 something. All right, this is the one I use. So if you want to screenshot the barcode, because every time I put a link, B&Q links, they just last and then just do nothing. So hope if I show you the profile there, and some are sort of higher on one side. So this is the one I've used. Then I bought another piece of this. This is for the corner. That's just resting that little bit, you can see there, but I put a bit here in the corner. I need to trim this because it's too big, but I bought this one, which is the next size up. Do go like that to give it a nice finished edge. I've got to cut that, then I'll stick it. And then I've got this piece here, which, fingers crossed, again I'm going to have to cut it. It is going to fit Let me just lean it. Oh, it fits. It fits. It's going to go in this gap. So let me cut it and attach it and I'll show you what it all looks like. Stuck. There we go. Perfect fit. This is just a piece of cut pie. Now the annoying things, as you can see, is I have the gap there. It is at the lowest point, even though it's higher there, because of getting this floor straight. We've got such a dip. So what I'm going to do on the bottom there, I'm going to put a very tiny bead across the bottom, so you won't notice that. And at the top, I've made this to the height of the tall piece because that'll have a strip there, and I'm going to have to cut it, and then I'm going to have a bigger piece there. So once it's all painted, you won't notice, but that is the perfect fit. So that I managed to find was 3.5 centimetres wide by 22mm deep. I'm going to do it now, so I'm going to attach that, get it all corked, and I'll show you how I do this little bit, and then that's the frame done. But that's enough for now. I'll see you in the morning. Okay, top is all on. I have attached them with no more nails here and here, and then I'm finding with the nail gun it's pushing it back too much, so I make a small little drill hole and then put a small screw in and push it right through, and then you see I put some filler over the top just to hold it in place, so it's nice and secure to the wood that I screwed to the top. And then the side here I use a little offcut. So what I'll do is I'll put some cork just on that little corner. It's pretty level, but again I use some filler and get that nice and smooth. I've got to adjust the door slightly because it's definitely going in a little bit there, but I've got more brackets coming because I actually think with these, my doors didn't notice, but these are definitely bowing, so I'm going to put 3 hinges, sorry, not brackets, hinges on each door, and then I've done the top bit there. So that's the frame on, and now I'm going to do the worst part of the whole thing, which is putting the coving. It's just the worst. So I've got a pack because I'm going to use some downstairs on 2 projects, so I bought a whole pack because it works out cheaper. This is the one, just from B&Q. They've got a few different sorts. They're the really nice lightweight polystyrene ones, and then 2 packs of these, which are the corners, because I can't cut them. This just makes it easier. It's a bit more expensive, but you basically get 2 corners, so you can either do them in that way or the other way around, but I'm going to put the corners on first. I'll show you once I've attached them. Fold it up. I can confirm it's still a job I hate more than anything. What I've done is I put the corner bit in first, so here, and then I matched up the pattern and did a bit there, which I can do a bit of filler. I've learned even if you do up and down straight or wonky, it still looks the same, so I thought, well, I just trimmed this little bit down, went like that, so I'll leave that to dry. It's definitely, the sticky stuff is not as good, definitely use the coving stuff, but I've got to pop out now, so I'm going to let that really dry and go off for about an hour. I managed to work out how to do it. I hate coving, I really do. So I've put up this corner bit, let me just show you. So this is the back of the corners, definitely get the corners, there we go. So that slides in like that, and then you have to put a piece across there, and the way I worked out how to do it is I held a piece up that way, and then basically, let me show you. I'm going to stick this bit and then I can show you. Then, with this bit, all I did was I basically put a straight bit and I made a marking on the top and the marking on the bottom, so I knew the angle to cut, and then just cut it. That's up. So glad that's over. It's just a little bit fiddly, but basically I used the corners, by the corners 100%, and then this piece I used was a corner. This wasn't, because I decided to get brave. So I basically attached the corner that it gave me, cut it at the bottom so it's tight there, then obviously it goes up to the angle in a diagonal, and then I basically got a long piece, slide it across, and then scored the bottom, scored the top so I knew the angle, and then I basically cut it. I'm sure that's not the right way of doing it, but that's the way I did it, and it's up. That's dead straight, so I'm now going to cut a dead straight bit, which is a lot easier. So if you're doing it fitted, it's just dead straight. It's a bit fiddly. If I've completely confused you, just go on YouTube and look about fitting on a corner. It tells you about the angles and stuff, but that's what I did. Definitely by the corners. Right, I'm going to attach that bit and I'll show you when it's up. So now I'm going to add this little bit of stripping. This is really good if you've got wonky edges and you're not a professional scriber, which I'm not. So I'm going to attach this one. Let me show you the label. Again, this was from B&Q. This is the label. So it's just it says it's a pine quadrant in the 12mm. And the one I've used on the other side is an 8mm because it's a smaller gap. Get on, and then that'll give it a lovely edge. See that? So I'll attach that, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. I'm now going to be using the primer on the doors. The one I'm using is the same one I used on my other wardrobes, and they haven't chipped or anything at all. It's quite a small tin, but it goes a really long way. You only do one coat. So I actually decided with the last one, I think I painted it when I'd put the trim on, but I think I'm gonna, using my mini roller, I'm gonna quickly put a coat of prime on it, just on the front, and then I can leave that to dry. Then I'm gonna attach my mouldings, which I've got now, finally in stock. So I'll link this below. I think it was under £10, but it's really good. So I'm gonna get on with doing that. Okay, all primed, all done. It does go on a little bit odd. When I did it on my other wardrobe, obviously the doors were white, so you didn't notice as much. So don't panic when you put it on if you feel like it's not actually soaking in. It looks like it's sort of sitting on the top. You just have to leave it, trust the process, and it will dry on and give you a good base. It's all dried. I've left it a good few days. Now on the tin, it says you can do other coats if you want to. For me, I'm quite happy with that because all I'm trying to achieve is a base for the paint to stick on. And I know from painting my others with one coat, it sticks really well. A few people on Instagram said, why did I go for the textured doors if I'm just going to paint them? Well, that is because I wanted the oak doors, so when you open, it matches. Otherwise, it's not going to match. So that is why. So those are all on. So what I'm going to do first, I've got a number of holes and little gaps that I've got to fill. So I'm going to go around and do all of that first. Like fill bits here, got to fill a bit there, got to fill a grapey bit in the corner, get it all perfect. While that's drying, I'm then going to start attaching my moulding. This is the one I'm using. It has gone up slightly in price, only about £1 since last year. This is it. It's from B&Q. That's the size, that's the code. I'll link it below. The reason I went for this one is because if you look, it's got a raised centerpiece, so it's not one end going down, and that's what looks really good. Now I'm going to get all the beading on first. The trim, what you need, or what I use. So what you're going to need, I use no more nails. I have a few people say to me, do I not then nail it on? No, I don't. This stuff is unbelievably strong. I've put moulding on the wall when I was doing panelling and accidentally put it in the wrong place. When I got it off after it dried, it took away half the wall. So this is ample to attach. Now this you can't get in America, but it's basically made by Unibond. It's a super strong glue. So whatever you have in America or other countries similar to this, use that. A mitre, this is my new one, and I've already covered it in gunk. I use this to cut because it gives you the angles. That's all I use. And a saw. This one is probably not the best because it's got a flexible blade. A stiffer blade probably is better, but I can just like get away with it. Tape measure, pencil, and this is actually what I'm using for filling all the gaps. It really smells, but it's really good. Picking out the doors, I will show you how I do it because I use a piece of wood as my template. So easy. This will work on this standard height, which is 200, or the 236. It'll work just the same. So this is the piece of wood that I use. It's 2.4 metres long, but I've cut it down so it's in a small bit. Now all I do with a pencil or a pen, I'm using a pen, I can't find a pencil, to measure out the height of where I'm going to put my trim. So my trim comes across here, like the other one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the bottom so you get it nice and straight. That is dead straight. I'm going to score a line across like that. So that is my bottom line there. Then on the side I do the same again, so it's actually flush on the end. So we'll pop that on there just to make sure it's dead straight. Probably easier with a pencil, but I'm using a pen. So that's my up. And then all I do is go up the wall as well with a bit. You can, if you want to, you can make this the perfect length. Just to do that, top to bottom if you want. So I'll do the other bit across here. So hold it on here. Make sure it's dead straight against the bottom of the door, like that. Just check you're happy with that. I'm very happy with that. So that's my line there. The section here is 51 centimetres wardrobe. So all you're going to do is measure out 51 centimetres exactly, like that. And then that line there is where I get my piece of wood. I hold it like that. And this is where the spirit wood is very important. So you know you've got it dead straight. Oops. Right, so that's dead straight. And there is my top line. So the 51 centimetres is to this point to this point. When you're putting on the panelling, sorry, when you're putting on the moulding, this bottom line is the bottom. So I haven't passed it yet. Here's one of the bits. So what I mean is, here's your line, you put it above the line, not below the line, above the line. So that will go like that. But I'll show you that in a minute. So that's how you mark it out. So the gap here, so this is one panel here, and then here, there's going to be another gap. So all you do is get your bit of wood again and place it on the line you've just drawn on, which is 51 centimetres. So this point here to this point here is 51. So I'm going to put it on the top like that. You cannot do this without spirit level. Let's get that nice and level. Absolutely spot on. Right, so that's just why I like to use a small bit, because the strength I can hold it was too big, it would wobble. And draw like that. So then, as you can see, this is now the gap for where my next sort of panelling is going to start. So what I'm going to start doing now is I tend to overlap it a little bit so you can see where the line was. Let's just check it. So I'm going to start measuring up here. So that there, you can see, there's my gap. So then this piece that goes up, this is quite easy to do because all I'm going to do is right at the very top, I'm going to put this at the top of the door. So that's how I know where to draw it to. So the only bit you need to measure is this bit, which I did at 51. Now this is the 2 metre high one. So if you're doing the 2 metre 30, you could leave it as this and it would just mean this bit is a lot taller. Or if you want to, you could make this 60 centimetres, then your gap, then your top bit. So this is slightly larger. Just do whatever you want to do if you're doing this in the taller doors. But these are the exact dimensions for me. So just to run through that again, because I know I waffle a bit. On the bottom, on the side, then this measurement to this measurement is 51 centimetres. Then you pop that on the top again. And then for me, I just keep going all the way marking the sides, and then I put my piece at the top. So you only have to adjust this. Well, you can adjust it if you want to, you know, if you want equal, you don't have to have small at the bottom. I think it's quite a nice feature. So that's how I do it. So what I'm going to do now is measure out all over the wardrobe. So I think it's easy to do that in one go. And then I will show you how I cut them. Okay, we're all measured out. Can't really see it as clearly on the screen, but I can see here that I have been round, measured all of it, all the side and the tops, so it's all laid out. So then what I do, using my design sheets, I will add a link below to my design sheets, because I've been using these throughout the project. I'm using the dotty paper here, it comes in a pack, and then you can, if you prefer using the squares, you can measure. And then I have the big cubes, I have a description of things you need to buy. So this is where I keep a record of everything I'm doing, like designing the base and the squares. This is things to buy. This is how you can plan if you want paints and stuff. There's a whole collection. It's a digital download, so you can print off as many of these as you like. So I'll link that below. But this is my design. Also, I changed this. I didn't have the drawers in the end. So what I do is I've just been round and I've measured. So let me show you on here where I measure. This, you measure from the corner here to the corner here. This is 51 centimetres. And then across here, it's 40.5. So what I do is I number all the sections, then obviously have the big bits at the top. So on my sheets, I do it by number. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for example, number 4 is 116 centimetres long, and it's this piece here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, and I cut them, and then I cut them with 2 45-degree angles. I'll do that in one batch, then I write on the back the number 6, so I know I've cut them in the right angles and they're cut to size. What I will also do is work out how many of the wooden bits I've got to make sure I'm not having any wastage, because they're quite expensive. So I'll cut those first. Then, for example, we've got number 5, which is 40.5. It's got a straight edge here and a point, so that's going to go here because this is a point here. So I have a 5 there, a 5 there, and a 5 there, and then 5 there, there, and there. So it's 6. So this is just work out. If you want to literally cut those 3 as a number, that 3, so you know. So I know to cut 40.5 centimetres with a dead straight bit, and then the angle is that side, and then I'll mark that as number 5, and then I'm done. Then I'll move on to the next one, attaching them. So I'm going to get on with that now, and I'll show you how I get on. It's the following day. I got this up yesterday. I thought if I get this up, you'll understand what I'm going to be showing when I attach these bits. So I did that yesterday. I slept funny, I think, the night before, and my neck was really bad last night. I'm happy to say though I've slept on it, and I ordered an overnight from Amazon neck thing to massage my neck, and I'm feeling a lot better today. So hopefully when I start sore, it won't start again. So we're back to it. I've also just picked up some more filler to fill up the big corners because I ran out. So I've got a few more bits to do filling wise. So what I'm going to do, as you see here, I have attached the middle pieces on, and I started cutting this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut all the pieces for here, and all I use is my mitre block and my saw. In fact, there's one here. So as I showed before, there's my sheet. So as I'm cutting them, I'm marking them off, so I know I'm not going to waste any bits. So here's one bit that I've cut. You need to definitely measure twice, cut once. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think it's definitely easier to cut all the sections you need for one bit, then attach them, and then do the next one. So I'm going to get on with some measuring, and I'll show you measuring and cutting, and then I'll show you how to put them on. All laid out. As you see, I stuck one on. So this is like the way I know I'm not over cutting. I think I've definitely got enough of the strips with one more to go, but this is what is required for one side. Now start from the bottom. I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so start from the bottom first, using no more nails. You've got a couple of seconds to move them about, but you do need to use the spirit level to make sure they're on straight. So I'll put them on. The no more nails, you can't use something like grip fill. Did that once, but it doesn't hold it, it moves. Grip fill's fine if it's something that can't move, but this can obviously slide, so definitely no more nails. And just remember to watch the gap here, that you're nice in lines. One of the ones I did on here was ever so slightly long, but it's okay. I quickly just trimmed it down a bit. You just gotta make sure they're level here. So if your measurements are all right, they should fit perfectly. So let's get them on. Second one done, one more to go. I've just cut all the lengths, definitely the best way to do it. And I have 1.5 left, which is good because I'm going to use these bits for another project in the hallway I'm about to start, another IKEA hack. So they're all cut, ready to go. There's my long bits. And now I'm going to put them on here. I'll show you when I finish. Good morning. It is Tuesday and today I am going to do my very best to finish these wardrobes. So the first thing I'm going to do, obviously I stuck on all the trim. Really happy how that looks. My first job is to go around and sand all the bits I did with the filler dotted around. I'm going to use my trusty mouse to do that and get it all nice and smooth. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it another quick prime. All this wood needs priming using this one. I've still got some left, so that's good. Then I'll let that dry. It's a quick drying one, but I'll probably wait a good hour, let that dry. And then I'm going to start on the fronts. So let's get on. Right, I'm all primed. It's now 7 o'clock, so it's quite late, but I am going to get a coat on tonight. So this is it for, I'm going to start putting on the first coat. This is the one I used in my other wardrobe, which is the Dulux Quick Dry Satin in the mid sheen in pure brilliant white. And it is fantastic. It goes a long way. It's touch dry in an hour. It says it's non-drip. I think he's probably right, but I'm going to get a coat of that on. I'll show you what it looks like after one coat of this fantastic paint. Good morning, it's the following day. As you can see here, I've been out to the container and got some pieces of skirting board out. That's the short bit. I've got a long bit, so I've got enough, which is a relief. It's dried overnight, all ready for its second coat. I do think it's going to need 3 coats. It does look very different on the camera. It's much, much smoother in real life. It's really showing up funny colours, but we won't worry about that. So what I'm going to do first, though, is I'm actually going to do some caulking all the way around all the bits. So I'm going to caulk quickly, then I'm going to give it a second coat. Then, while it's drying, I'm going to cut and fit the skirting board to get started. Okay, all caulked, all done. The caulk that I use is this. I think it's about £1.70. And I literally just put it on, wet finger, cloth to wipe your finger, and run it down. You can buy tools and stuff. If you've got an amazing way that you do it, please do add a comment in the comments. But that's how I do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get on with coat number 2. So that's 2 doors done. I just thought I'd show you before I start on the third one. So you can clearly see it's going to be at least 3 coats. I did 3 coats on my other wardrobes, on these wardrobes, but they were obviously white to start with and smooth. So I'm going to crack on with this one. I've got a YouTube video in the background. So it's not too bad. So I I don't know why I'm out of breath. I've just walked up the stairs, but there you go. So that's what it looks like compared to, it's a 3-1, but that's fine. The top's looking really good with the lights. Right, I'm gonna get on, show you when I finish and I start mucking around with the skirting board. Okay, that's coat 2 done. It's just drying. I'm really hoping 3 coats can be enough. It may be 4, we'll see. We'll leave that to dry. So now I'm gonna start on the skirting board. I've got 1 long piece on the stairs and then this short piece. So I'm gonna measure up. First of all, the skirting board is from Todds doors. I have no idea what it's called, but it's Todds doors. We have it all through the house. Then we have the matching skirting board, not skirting board, the architrave that goes around the doors, which is not painted yet. I'm gonna do, I might try and scribe it a bit. Probably I will just use filler because none of this has been painted. So I'm not going to get away with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just measure this long bit first. Then I'm not going to show how to attach skirting because I think if you don't know how to do it, I would definitely watch a professional video because I am not a professional when it comes to fitting a skirting board. So I would recommend doing that. So on the other one, it was straight across. And it's, I mean, it's fairly simple. Obviously it will come here with a 45 degree angle there. That'll be the same, opposite, small bit. So it's fairly simple. So I'm going to get that on and I'll show you when it's on and I'll give it its first coat of paint. Skirting on. That wasn't too traumatic to take me about an hour. And I've done some, got to wait for it all to dry. Then I'll put a little bit of filler just to make sure I'm happy with all the corners and then a very light sand. But I'm pretty happy with that. It's definitely more forgiving when you're painting everything white. But what I am going to do is I'm just going to start measuring out for the handles. Now, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to let it all dry for a bit, but I'm pretty happy with that. I had about another, I don't know, ½ metre left of the skirting. So it's not too bad a join there. I mean, these floors are so wonky. You can see they actually had to do a lot of scribing along that side, but I think I've got away with it. So there we go. So yeah, let that dry and then I will show you the next thing. It's Friday, it's overnight. As you can see, I need another coat. It is drinking the stuff. So I just got back from home base and picked up only a small tin of the quick dry satin wood. So I'm going to crack on now and hopefully, fingers crossed, this will be the last coat and then we can get the handles on and have dryness. We finally have dry doors and I am now putting on the handles. These are the handles. They are, I'll link them below, I've got them from Amazon. So this is them. I needed 6 and they come in packs of 5, so I had to buy 2. So I'm putting them on. I won't show you how to put them on, it's fairly simple. You obviously get the screws, 2 different lengths of screws. I'm using the shorter, but these ones you can cut them down if you want to. I'm using my less powerful drill and I've put in a fairly thin drill bit with a nice point. Don't use anyone too big, just nice and small and nice and slow. And then for measuring, this here sits on the bottom and that's my height. So these handles are 8.9 centimetre or 9 centimetres high. That fits perfectly there. So then I just literally measure out, I think it's a centimetre gap. Mark them out, drill the hole with your drill nice and slowly. And just be careful once you get through, you don't say jolt through and then, especially if it's painted, it doesn't matter so much if it's just put through an IKEA door, but just be careful. So the thinner the better. Handles on. I'll show you the finished wardrobes. Here they are finished. Very happy to have finished this project, I really, really am. Just added extra brackets actually on the doors that I bought, the hinges, so they're shutting really nicely. You'll notice on the right here, I've also put up this little gold rail. I believe it's a really small towel rail. so he can hang up bits ready for the morning. I was going to put it up here, but I can't because there's a window behind there that's boarded up. So I put it there on the wood panelling, and that works really well. I've got one over here. I've got a much bigger one on my side of the room. So the wardrobes have turned out better than I could have hoped for. I'm glad I went for the white actually, because my wardrobes here, the originals, are now overshadowed by these beasts. I'm going to do a separate video on the internals and all the lighting and what I actually think and how we've styled the inside, because it's completely different to mine. It feels like completely different wardrobes to mine, which is interesting, and we're still sorting that out. So the outside's finished, inside's still to do. But I'm very happy. I'll link everything, like the fantastic handles on Amazon and which coving I use, which moulding I use, and the paint and everything in the description box. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching that. If you're going to have a go, let me know. I would love to be tagged if you do attempt your own, however you change and make it your own design. I'd love to see it. I'm just about now, I'm halfway through doing a haul project with a IKEA changing up an IKEA shoe storagey thing, and I'm just about to start doing a very secret project downstairs, which is a bar. I'm actually building a hidden bar using IKEA. So do hit the subscribe button and the like button and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Would you have done it differently? I'm happy how it turned out. I'm not a carpenter. I'm not claiming to be a carpenter, and this was difficult with the 2 centimetre difference in the floor. But I don't think you can actually notice that the doors are slightly different. My husband's very happy with them, so that's good. Job done. Now on to the next. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. Check out my other IKEA packs. I'll link the other wardrobe, and I'll link the packs that I built in the hallway as well if you want to have a binge watch of those. But do let me know what you think. Check me out on Instagram. I'm going to go and add some reels up now, and yeah, I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.